Hi everybody, and welcome to this presentation on how to stop saying and improve your presentation skills. I'm MichelleBrady, and I'm actually a specialist in the subject of helping people present themselves better. In fact, I often say a joke that when you want to talk better, talk to me. And we're here today to talk about how to stop saying One of the biggest mistakes that people make in public presentation, actually one of the most frustrating things for the audience to listen to, is how to hear someone who starts their presentation with, I really have a lot of really good things to say, but I just keep saying And it gets so aggravating to hear someone do that. And I know that even the people who do it say, I wish I could stop. And I want to share with you how to do it. It's actually not that hard, it just takes a little bit of effort. And in addition, we're going to also later talk about how to stop doing things like articulation mistakes, going, doing, saying something. First, let's talk about why you'd want to get rid of saying One of the reasons that you want to get rid of saying is because it is extremely frustrating for the audience to listen to, but even more importantly is this reason. The major reason to get rid of it is that you actually don't sound professional and you don't sound as educated as we know that you are. If you are standing up and presenting, we know you're smart. We know you're the educated individual. But going and like and you know doesn't make you sound like you're confident, that you're convinced about your information, that you're smooth in presenting this like you're the expert. And so when you get rid of it, you actually sound more educated. You sound professional. And so let's start to talk about how do you get rid of this thing that is in our way. Well, one of the ways to understand it is that you first need to realize why you do it. There are a couple of reasons that cause it. One of the reasons is the biggest one, and it's the normal name for filler language is vocal interference. We call it both filler language and vocal interference. The reason that we call it filler language and vocal interference is because it's filling something and it's interfering with something. What it's actually interfering with is what should be silence. So the major reason why most people have filler language is they're filling silence. This thing I'm going to do right now is hard for people when they're the speaker. And so what happens between our thoughts is that we sometimes need to pause naturally, and it lets the audience think. It lets them take in the information. In our American culture, we tend to not stop and pause because someone might think it's their turn now and we race through, but we also might be doing it because we're thinking about what it is we want to say. And so we don't pause because we're and I'm just doing this to transition to my next content, and it's actually nonsense that carries me to the stuff that's important. But if I got rid of it and was just silent, it would actually sound better. And so the biggest problem for most people is a little bit of discomfort with that silence. And so one of the things that are needed in order to get comfortable is practice. Practice rehearsing with people and being silent in front of them. And knowing that if you just pause and think through what it is you want to say, being quiet is better than that filler or that interference. Now, the second reason that filler language exists is just simply habit. We do it a lot. And our culture speaks this way, and everyone around us speaks this way. And so we used to liken it to young people who like and like and like and like and like, and it sounds young and ditzy and immature. And because all of their friends are doing it, they do it too. So sometimes it's just a habit, and we're not even aware of it. So those are the major reasons why people have filler language in their content or vocal interferences. So now let's move on to talking about how do we fix it, because that's what you came to this video for. You wanted to learn how to fix it. Well, let's teach that. Well, there are actually 3 things that you can do that are major that will help you fix it. And so here's the first one. The first one is you actually have to hear yourself do it as much as you are actually doing it. And so you have to have a full awareness of it. A lot of times when my students are in front of me and they are speaking, I usually start a hash mark when I hear the first and I start hash marking, and then when I get to 5, you cross it, and you get 5, and then 10, and then 15. And a lot of times I'll say to the student, do you know how many filler language and you knows you had? And they might say, oh, I had 3. I'll say, well, you actually had about 16. And when they don't hear the amount that they are actually doing to the amount that I actually counted, that awareness actually causes some of the problem. If you heard 16 and you did 16, you'll actually start to reduce it because you'll hear the amount of it yourself. So how do you increase your awareness? There are a couple of ways to do it. One of the ways that you increase awareness is simply start listening to other individuals and how they do it. When you hear other people say a lot, it will start making you aware of your own. The second thing is record yourself. This is not people's favorite thing to do because we don't like how we sound. We are our worst critic. When you actually record yourself though, and not listen to your voice, but just listen to the and, I, you know, likes and ums, you will begin to be aware of the fact that you don't like it and you'll want to fix it. And it increases your awareness to record yourself. And very, very important. You can use your phones today. That's a really great thing to just record even casual conversations and start to hear and play back what you're doing. And then the next thing that you can do is have someone mirror you. And literally using a mirror, here's what this means, that another person helps you. How this works is you get an individual that you ask and recruit. Now, I suggest you like this person because it could get a little annoying after a while, but ask this person to help you. And what I do for my students is quietly and silently, if they say I'll do number 1. They say again, number 2, number 3, and it could be quiet. I'm just counting for you that you're doing them. Another thing that I do for someone is if they've asked for my help and they say I say it back to them. They say I go and they hear it then because I'm feeding it back to them. Now that's a lot more vocal interchange, so somebody could do it silently for you as well. Those are the major things that you can do to improve your filler language. Now it sounds simple. And it actually is simple, but here's the real crux of the problem. You cannot fix filler language on the day of your major presentation. Filler language has to be fixed every single day. The reason is because it's a habit. And if you're going to change a habit, you have to change it every day. And so this simple technique of mirroring awareness and improving it has to be done in your daily life so that on the day of the presentation, it is actually cleaned up and your vocal interferences are minimal and accidental and occasional. But that doesn't happen unless you're working on it every day. And the reason is called automatic language. Now what automatic language is that when you pick up your phone and you answer the phone without thinking, what do you say? If it's, good afternoon, you've reached MichelleBrady, how may I help you? Because I've trained myself to say that as my exchange, then it's going to sound professional. If I pick up the phone and say, yeah, who is this? What? Something of that nature, and it's not professional, you did that without thinking, that's your automatic response. You want to train yourself to do the automatic right thing, not the automatic unprofessional statement. Well, filler language is the same way. If you start training yourself every day to have it be absent by paying attention to it in your awareness, you will have it be virtually gone when it comes time for the real life presentation where you need it to be absent. Remember, the major thing about filler language right now is that it makes you sound professional. It makes you sound educated, informed, and confident. And so start working on your filler language using these tips today. And I look forward to hearing from you to tell me how these tips helped you. Thanks for listening.